Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता, पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंग, विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्छल जलधि तरंग, तव शुभ नामे जागे, तव शुभ आशीष मागे, गाहे तव जय गाथा। जनगण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता, जय हे जय हे जय हे जय
Thank you. Two national anthems from two major countries in the world. I'm feeling very patriotic right now.
That was wonderful. So welcome everybody, please have a seat. Welcome to the NCIA National Council of Asian Indian Associations celebration of India's 71st Republic Day. My name is Devang Shah. I'm the Vice President of Public Relations for NCIA and will be your host this evening along with the very accomplished Kirti Swami, who is not only a wonderful singer but an engineer and a very successful businesswoman. And she serves as the Vice President of Finance for NCIA.
Thank you so much, Devang. I'm so honored to be hosting this wonderful event. Welcome to everyone and welcome to our chief guest. Thank you so much for being here on the eve of Super Bowl Sunday. Thank you. So a few housekeeping items. Please put your phone ringer on vibrate. Thank you very much. So Devang, I think you have a very important announcement to
Oh
make.
yes, Kirti. If I can have everyone's attention, we found a lost item. I just want to make sure we can return it to you. We found a stack of $100 bills with several rubber bands around it. Is that anybody's? Okay, because I'm going to look to return the rubber bands to somebody. Okay, I don't have anybody's raising their hand except for our past president, and it wasn't his. He spent all the money on the suit he's wearing.
Yeah, so he's a lawyer, so you should know that by now.
So in that case, let's move on. Today you're going to hear from the president of our organization, our past chair, our president of our trustees. We're going to hear from our Excellency Ambassador Amit Kumar, the Honorable Montgomery County Council Member Tom Hucker from Montgomery County, along with the Executive Director from the Governor's Commission for Community Initiatives, J Mcadams.
Oh, and along with that, we're going to have a very fascinating, entertaining cultural program that showcases dances from the various parts of India. And just want to let you know that before 9 p.m. or at 9 p.m. we will be serving dinner. And as you might have guessed, it's going to be Indian cuisine, spicy Indian cuisine.
Kirti, don't forget the most important thing. Also at 9 p.m. the bar is going to open once again. Now, if you can't wait for another hour and a half to have your next drink, I think you may have a problem.
So yeah, let's get started. Once again, it's so happy to host this event with you, Devang. You being such a distinguished immigration attorney.
Why are you smiling, Kirti?
I was just thinking about all of the lawyer jokes, which are very popular. Well, how about this one? How does a lawyer sleep? First, he lies on one side, and then he lies to the other side.
Okay, Kirti, I think I'm done here. Kirti, we're really here to celebrate India's Republic Day. And what this is the day that the Constitution came into effect. And what's so important is these constitutions were drafted by lawyers in the United States and in India, and in two countries where we have such diversity of cultures, diversity with religions, of languages, of ethnic groups. What really binds both the United States and India together as one nation is really the Constitution that's written by attorneys. So maybe we can dispense with the attorney jokes just for today. Is that okay?
Sure, yeah. But I just want to be politically correct and say I do like lawyers, and even though I enjoy lawyer jokes much more, whether you like it or not, they are indispensable. So yes, we all have to like lawyers.
I think, Kirti, you only like the lawyers that represent you and your company, not on the other side. So let's get started. At this time, I want to call on our newly elected president, Mr. Baljinder Shami Singh of NCIA. Please come forward.
Good evening, Honorable Ambassador Amit Kumarji, Delegate Tom Hucker, Delegate Thomas Denoga, Mr. Anurag Kumar, Minister of Community Affairs, J Mcadams, Executive Director, Maryland Governor Commission of South Asian Affairs. Distinguished guests, dear friends, good evening to all of you. On behalf of NCIA and Sikhs of America, it is great honor and privilege I extend my greetings and warm welcome, heartfelt gratitude to all of you for taking time out and join us to grace the occasion of 71st Republic Day of India. Friends, we have gathered together here to celebrate this special occasion. January 26, 1950 was a glorious day when India became a sovereign, socialistic, secular, democratic republic and secured for its citizens justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. The Constitution of India was adopted. I express my sincere thanks to all the dignitaries for taking time to come and celebrate with us. I am delighted to have my friend Jesse Singh, Chairman of Governor's Commission, South Asian American Affairs, and Sajid Kar, our CEO, Center for Social Change, with us, who have always supported our organizations. I also welcome Mr. Kamalji Singh Soni, President of Sikhs of America, and their whole team there. Adappa Prasad ji, who is a US-India liaison advisor on Indian diaspora affairs, Government of India, and their other officials who are present here today. I acknowledge Dr. Renuka Mishra ji, founding president of GOPIO, for her unconditional help and support. Thanks to the coordinator. Thanks to the coordinator of this event, Rabin Goswami, Kirti Swami, and Devang Shah for their hard work. I'm indebted to Pawan Bezwada, Chairman of his EC, Suresh Gupta ji, Chairman Board of Trustees, Dr. Gill, Treasurer, and whole Executive Committee members of their unending support. I would like to welcome the area organizations, especially Aligarh Alumni Association, Dr. Abdullah Zafar Iqbal, and other officials. AIMS, Dr. Kaleem Khwaza, Kopio Metro DC, Dr. Satish Mishra, and Sant Gupta. This evening we have organized a splendid, colorful showcase of India for you through our cultural program followed by a delicious dinner. I take this opportunity and convey my sincere gratitude and thanks to all those who stood by me to make this event success. Last but not last, you all, the audience. Without your presence, this program would not have been possible. A big thank you to all of you. Sit back, relax, and enjoy. God bless you and God bless America.
This time I'd like to invite Mr. Jasdeep Singh, better known as Jesse Singh, to the stage. His official title is the Chairman of Maryland Governor's Commission on South Asian Affairs, but really he's a community leader. I've known him when he was just working at the local level. He's at the state level, nationally known, and really internationally known. And he is so good to our community, so helpful. And Jesse's the type of guy, if you call him at 2 in the morning, he will show up. He's open to help the community at any time with his open heart, and really sometimes more important, with his open wallet. He's been so good to our community, locally, nationally, internationally. Let's hear it from Mr. Jesse Singh.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
Good evening. Deputy Chief of Mission, His Excellency Amit Kumar ji. Director of Governor's Office, J Mcadams. President of Muslims of America, my friend Sajid Taru Sahab. My partner, President of Sikhs of America, Kamaljeet Singh Ji Soni. My friend first, and then BJP Overseas President Adappa Prasad Ji, and all other distinguished guests. I wish you all the best wishes for the 71st Republic Day of India. I want to talk about NCAIA. I've known this organization for more than 10 years, and how they have grown, how they've become the pioneer, the leading organization of Indian Americans who's always fighting for our community, who's bringing us together with cultural programs and other programs that they do. And I really commend their leadership. Dr. Gupta, Suresh Gupta, who's my friend, who's been leading this organization for such a long time. Pawan Bezwada, Baljinder Singh, Devang Shah, my friend here, who I often see as my brother from another mother. He's a dear friend. He's a very successful immigration attorney. He's a Democrat, but he confided in me recently that after President Trump came out and his immigration policies, his business, Devang's business, has gone up. So he's going to be voting for Donald Trump next time. But that was, on the lighter side. But I want to bring our attention to the 71st Republic Day of India, a country where I grew up in diversity, a country where I saw a mosque, a mandir, a gurudwara, a church on the same crossroad in one neighborhood. I went to India a few years ago with my friend Sajid Taru, and who's from Pakistan, as you all know, and he was very pleasantly surprised to see the diversity and the love and the secular India that we have. And that is what the foundation of our nation was. That is what we see in this beautiful country here. That is what we see in Maryland. And unfortunately, we are seeing some things of dissent, some religious divides going on in India. But as non-resident Indians living outside India, it is our duty that we show our brothers back home that here we are all united, Muslims, Sikhs, Hindus, Christians, and we send this message back home of unity. Thank you very much. Let's enjoy this evening and have a wonderful time. Thank you. God bless America. God bless India.
So next, I would like to introduce our next speaker, our chairman, Mr. Pavan Bezwara, who is going to give his chairman's remarks and also introduce our distinguished guest, His Excellency Ambassador Anil Kumar. So I just want to say a few words about Pavan. So Pavan is the present chairman and the past president of NCIA. Most of you are aware that in the past few years he was instrumental in reshaping this organization and taking it to new heights. He's a true leader in every sense. Mr. Bezwara, as I said earlier, is going to give the chairman's remarks and introduce our Ambassador Amit Kumar. He wanted me to keep this really short and in 2 lines, so pretty much. Welcome, Mr. Bezwara.
Thank you, Kitty. His Excellency Ambassador Amit Kumar Ji, Honorable Tom Hucker, Montgomery County Council Vice Chief President, Honorable Tom Dernoga, PG County Council Member, Mr. J Mcadams, Mr. Anurag Kumar Ji, distinguished guests, and our team NCIA. It makes me feel, it makes my heart full to see about close to 300 people sitting in this room. We started our campaign just in the first week of January, and I am really very grateful to all our guests who have joined us in this event with such a short notice. Before I make my remarks and introduction, I want you to join me in giving a big hand to our NCIA team. Please stand up wherever you are. I am delighted to welcome you all to this evening event. As most of you are aware, for almost a decade, NCIA has been spearheading to celebrate the Republic Day event. We also had the honor of welcoming almost every ambassador who was in Washington, D.C. So that is a very unique honor we have. It is especially an honor to welcome and introduce Ambassador Amit Kumar Ji this evening. He took up his present assignment in July of 2019, and within this short period of time, he has reached out to our community members and leaders, and many of us had the opportunity to interact, meet with him on numerous occasions. In the last couple of years, we have had an extraordinary relationship with the embassy, partnering with them on so many things, and we look forward to continuing this partnership. Ambassador Kumar is a career diplomat. He joined the most elite Indian Foreign Service in 1995. He has a wide range of experience, having served at the headquarters in New Delhi and in several Indian missions abroad. He has dealt with both bilateral and multilateral work in diverse fields. In an extremely illustrious Gupta ji, I want to have the attention of the ambassador. Thank you. In an extremely illustrious career spanning over more than 2 decades, he served in high-profile assignments which include Beijing, Berlin, United Nations, New York, and Tokyo. He holds a mechanical engineering degree from the prestigious Indian Institute of Technology, Kanpur, and is married to Mrs. Suresh Kumar and has 2 children. As I mentioned earlier, we have worked closely with the embassy on various issues, and we are excited to witness at this time Indo-US relations soaring new heights. We're also looking forward to the visit of President Trump to India in the last week of February, and hoping that our relations will be further cemented. In the US, the Indian American community is one of the fastest growing ethnic groups. It is very inspiring and it is very heartening to see Indian Americans in leadership role in diverse fields, heading iconic companies, serving in the US Congress and judges, and in a wide range of areas. It is also indicative of the greatness of this nation, which provides an environment for immigrants to thrive, prosper, and invest in the community, true to President John F. Kennedy, who said, much is given, much is expected. And I think the Indian community strives to contribute to the community. Indian American community is also very fortunate that we came from a land which boasts of diversity, and we are now in a land which also shares that same diversity, and because of that, we have prospered a lot in this country. Ladies and gentlemen, please join me in welcoming Ambassador Amit Kumar.
Thank you, Pawanji, for that generous introduction. Mr. Pawan, you are the chairman of the National Council of Asian Indian Associations. Mr. Baljinder Shami Singh, President. Mr. Jasdeep Singh Jesse, President of Sikhs of America. Dr. Suresh Gupta, Chairman, Board of Trustees.
Mike, close.
Mr. Tom Hucker, the Council Vice President of Montgomery County Council. Mr. J Mcadams from the Governor's Office in Maryland. My colleagues from the Indian Embassy, Minister Community Affairs Anurag Kumar, Councillor Vice Srimati Shachi Gildiar, and I think Mr. Vinayak, First Secretary in Consular Section, I saw him some. It gives me great pleasure to join you all at the event organized by the National Council of Asian Indian Associations, organized in collaboration with the Sikhs of America and several other community organizations to mark the 71st Republic Day of India. Let me begin by extending warm greetings on behalf of the government and people of India and on my own personal behalf on this occasion. Pavanji, I think I should mention, because you said that we are from a elite service, I would disagree, because at the end of the day, I think the objectives of being in the foreign service and as part of the Embassy of India is to secure an enabling environment for our country to achieve its development objectives, to ensure security for our country, to ensure that we have the necessary tools and means to enable growth and development for all of our people. So I would disagree with that sort of characterization of the foreign service being an elite service, and I think all my colleagues work very hard and to achieve that goal of extending our bilateral relations with the United States. Now, as the Honorable President mentioned recently in his address on the eve of Republic Day 2020, our Constitution gave us rights as citizens of a free democratic nation, but also placed on us responsibilities to adhere to the central tenets of democracy: justice, liberty, equality, and fraternity. We are also witnessing the 150th anniversary year of birth of Mahatma Gandhi, and as the Honorable President also noted, the life and values and the philosophy of our father of our nation remains relevant to the functioning of our polity and democracy. And I think by adhering to those ideals, we will be adding a meaningful dimension to our celebrations of 150th birth anniversary of Gandhiji. The Government of India is committed to overall development of the country and its people. It has set a target, a rather ambitious target, of making India a $5 trillion economy by 2025. It has to be, of course, goes without saying, inclusive growth covering all parts of India, be it Jammu and Kashmir, Ladakh, northeastern parts of India, or islands of Andaman and Nicobar. It also goes without saying that it should include everybody in India. No citizen should be left behind. In this context, the government has launched a number of welfare campaigns, and what is especially noteworthy about them is the element of people's participation, how people of India have voluntarily turned them into popular movements. This is best sort of exemplified in the Swachhata Abhiyan, which has achieved astounding success in a short time. The same spirit can be seen in other endeavors, be it giving a cooking fuel subsidy or pushing digital payments. We believe that other important missions and initiatives of the government, like the Jal Jeevan mission to meet the challenge of increasing water crises, or Jan Arogya Yojana or Ayushman Bharat, or similar initiatives in education, housing and agricultural sector will see similar support and success. You would be aware that the Finance Minister of India presented the Union Budget 2020 on Saturday morning with the broad objective of improving living standards of our citizens by catering to their aspirations, needs of economic development, building a robust financial sector, a number of steps on the taxation front, and so on and so forth. So I'll take a few minutes to just quickly go through some of the rather important announcements that have been made today. I think foremost is the initiative to look at meeting the infrastructure deficit in India. Our national infrastructure pipeline with an estimated outlay of $1.45 trillion has been launched. It would cover 6,500 projects across different sectors. Even railways is now open to participation by private sector on the public-private partnership mode. It also covers other sectors such as agriculture, education, manufacturing, electronics, medical devices, and so on and so forth. An investment clearance cell that will provide end-to-end facilitation and support for investment has been created. Taxation and incentives have also been extended to startups, which are fast emerging as one of the engines of growth of the Indian economy as we gradually progress towards a more knowledge-based economy. Overall, we expect and believe that the national budget will address the temporary blip that we had witnessed in our economic growth and energize the economy for the coming years. The Government of India has also afforded primacy to the role of the citizen in formulation of its public policy, and this is also reflected in our overall approach to diaspora engagement across the world. A number of steps have been taken to simplify and expedite delivery of visa, consular and passport services. In a similar vein, restrictions on asylees in obtaining consular passport and visa services have been lifted. Our embassy and consulates today routinely issue new passports in 48 hours. They are accessible on holidays and work beyond office hours in dealing with emergency cases. They also hold open houses on regular basis to receive feedback and respond to grievances if any. As the Honorable President had mentioned in his remarks on the Republic Day, the Indian diaspora has significantly contributed to countries that they have adopted as their homeland and have also helped in building a positive image of India. I can certainly attest and reaffirm this valuable contribution by you all in the growth of our ties with the United States. Your contributions in every walk of life and the professions that you undertake are well acknowledged by the American government and people. In fact, in the souvenir booklet, I noted that Governor of Maryland, His Excellency Larry Hogan, has indeed acknowledged your contribution in areas such as business, technology, academia, etc. India is enjoying a rapidly expanding and deepening strategic partnership with the United States. We had seen a very intense engagement in 2019 and we expect a similar level of enthusiasm and engagement in the coming months. We view the United States as a valuable partner in our quest for transforming our economy and meeting our development objectives, including through greater investments, collaboration, technology and innovation. And I think you all, as members of the Indian community in the United States, form an important living bridge between our two societies. You all have played a critical role in promoting better understanding of India and this country. You have helped build closer links between India, the overseas Indian community, and the country of your home, the United States of America. I know that many of you are engaged in philanthropy and charitable work or in the welfare of the local Indian community. Many of you are also engaged in India in some manner or other. Many others have expressed the desire to contribute to the Indian growth story. We at the embassy stand ready to work with you to take forward this important engagement. In conclusion, I would just once again would like to convey my Republic Day greetings to you all and extend my best wishes for a bright future. Jai Hind.
At this time, I'd like to introduce one of the stars of Montgomery County Council, Councilmember Tom Hucker. Tom Hucker represents the 5th District since 2014, and prior to that was a delegate in the state of Maryland from 2004 to 14. He represents the 5th District, which basically encompasses Briggs, Cheney, Burtonsville, Four Corners, Hillendale, Laytonsville, Silver Spring, and the White Oak area. What he's done in his time as council member and prior to being that time as a delegate is doing what people don't think is possible, making government more responsive and effective. And people don't think that can happen at the local level, but Tom has done that. And I'm going to give you one example. I serve on the board of Interfaith Works. We have a center in Silver Spring where we feed people when they don't have food. We have a homeless shelter there. And our employees were a little scared there because we were having issues with security. We reached out to Tom. Tom said, let's see what we can do about this. It's not in the budget. And Tom made a difference there. So our employees were safe with these people coming to this location. Tom was effective, responsive, and that's what local government's about. And Tom does such a wonderful job about doing that. And we're very lucky to have Tom here as a friend of our county, and he does such a great job. Everyone, welcome Tom Hucker.
Good evening, everybody, and happy Republic Day. Your Excellency, Ambassador Kumar, Councilmember Durnoga, Director Mcadams, President Singh, and Chairman Gupta, and honored guests. I'm so honored to be with you, and I'm so honored that Chairman Bezwada invited me to join you again this year. When the Constitution of India was ratified 70 years ago to this week, it was a watershed moment not just for India, but really for the entire world. It signaled that the second largest nation in the world would, from that day forward, shake off centuries of colonial rule and win the right of self-determination and take its rightful place on the world stage as an independent nation. And Republic Day continues to remind us of the importance of democratic institutions and traditions. India, as the world's largest democracy, and the U.S. as the nation with the oldest democratic constitution, will always be linked together and have so much to share and learn from each other. Together, we give hope to millions of people around the world in many emerging democracies. Mahatma Gandhi, the ambassador reminded us, was born 150 years ago this year. He said, "A nation's culture resides in the hearts and soul of its people." But nowhere is that more true than in Montgomery County, where our ambassador reminded us the Indian American community has deep and lasting positive impacts on our community and our state and our nation. And it's produced so many of our leaders in law, in medicine, in business, in art, in architecture, and research. But the greatest beneficiary might be the Montgomery County government, where just in the past year, we've been fortunate to have some wonderful Indian Americans join us in important senior leadership posts I wanted to tell you about. Ash Shetty is our new procurement director. He's doing a fantastic job. Partap Singh Verma is a new commissioner on our planning board. And you can applaud. Yes, sure. Sorry, I should stop. That's very good news. I was very happy to urge them to apply, to enthusiastically vote for their confirmation, because I've known them for years and I'm very familiar with their work. This adds not just diversity to the senior leadership of the county government, but it adds, more importantly, stronger ideas and practices, because Ash and Partap, like so many of our immigrant leaders, have already brought new insights and perspectives from the outside, from their experience in the private sector and in the federal government. And that's not just true in the county government, it's true in the state government as well. As Devang said, I served 8 years in the Maryland General Assembly, and I served with Delegates Aruna Miller and Delegates Kumar Barve, and 30 years ago, you I'm sure know, Kumar became the first Indian American elected to any state legislature in the nation. We still work very closely together because he chairs the Transportation and Environment Committee in Annapolis, and I chair the committee with the same jurisdiction for Montgomery County. But I say that because we have so many challenges ahead. I hope that you're inspired by the example of Ash and Partap and Aruna and Kumar, because the truth is we need all of you to be involved. There is so much talent in this room, and we need your ideas and your energy and your innovation in county and state government as well, regardless of your political affiliation. Our democracy is not perfect, unfortunately, but we're all called to make it more perfect, right? Our Constitution begins, "We the people, in order to form a more perfect union." That's still the goal hundreds of years later. We form a more perfect union when we make sure we hear everyone's voice and we benefit from everyone's ideas and energy. That's how we get the best outcomes in public policy and have the best effects on people's lives. And we need groups like NCIA and the Sikhs of America to bring us together and amplify our voices, because in a county of over 1 million people like Montgomery County, sometimes it's hard to be heard. But that's how we can all answer the calls to perfect our democracies and create a more perfect union. There are 2 key opportunities this year coming up where you can make a big difference. And one you already know about is the presidential election. You're going to continue to hear a lot more about that, so I don't have to talk about it. But the other one that's very important is the census, the 2020 census. It's so important to participate in the census and be counted, especially in counties like Montgomery and Prince George's counties, where we have such large immigrant populations. It's very, very easy for us to be undercounted. The census assesses each area based on its risk of being undercounted, and they give each area a numeric value. And Fairland, in my district, which is full of Indian families and African families and Latino families, is ranked as the area #1 in the entire state at risk for being undercounted because of language barriers, cultural barriers, and fear, frankly. There's a lot of fear because of anti-immigrant rhetoric, as you know, and hate crimes in our county and statewide and nationally. So people are afraid to register on a government form. And they're unlikely to believe somebody that looks like me that you can be safe if you fill out a government form and get counted on the census. So that's why we need organizations like NCIA and Sikhs of America to make sure people know they're safe and understand why they need to be counted. This is not just an academic exercise if we're not counted. It's not just a math problem. It means we don't get the representation that we deserve. We don't have the members of Congress, as many as we deserve. We don't have as many state legislators as we deserve. We don't have as many council members as we deserve. And we don't get as much funding, federal funding and state funding, for critical things like healthcare and education and transportation if we're not counted. So we're counting on all of you to be counted in 2020. If you know anyone who needs a job, the census is hiring. And they need especially workers who speak more than one language and are culturally competent. So I'm counting on you to stay involved with the census as well, because that's how we get the best outcomes long beyond 2020. Montgomery County is a county where over 1/3 of our residents were born somewhere else, in another nation, where people come from 150 nations speaking 170 languages to choose our county as their home. Silver Spring, Gaithersburg, and Germantown are 3 of the top 10 most diverse communities in the entire nation. No other county in America has the diversity Montgomery County has. And that's why I'm so proud to raise my family there. But it's also a challenge for those of us in government to hear your voices, because there's so many other voices as well. So please come to our budget hearings this spring and speak up for your schools or your transportation or your health care. Speak up, get involved in a volunteer organization. We have so many nonprofits. Apply for one of our advisory committees, volunteer in one of our offices. And if you don't know how to get involved, talk to me afterwards. I'm happy to make some suggestions. But you know, in 1947, I think we should all be inspired by the men and women in India who stood up for independence and then ratified their constitution by 1950. They took a lot of risks, and the world is much better for it. So the least we can do is follow their example and stand up and be counted right here in our democracy in 2020. So are you with me? Can I count on you to be counted this year? Well, let me thank you again for having me, and I want to call up Smita and Alpana to receive this citation from the Montgomery County Council. Congratulations. Sure, let me read it. Smita coming up too? Okay. Terrific. Congratulations. Please. Join me here. Okay, so over this side? You're getting me away from my notes here. Okay, it says the Montgomery County Council awards this citation to the National Council of Asian Indian Associations Incorporated and the Sikhs of America Incorporated in recognition of the celebration of the 71st Republic Day of India. Republic Day commemorates January 26, 1950, the day when India's constitution took effect, completing the nation's transition to an independent republic. Montgomery County's immigrant Indian community, which numbers about 25,000, makes invaluable contributions to the county's social, economic, educational, and cultural fabric, signed on the first day of February 2020, Tom Hucker, Council Vice President. Thank you all and congratulations.
Thank you so much, Mr. Hacker. Next, we have Mr. Stephen J. Mcadams. Mr. Mcadams was appointed Executive Director of the Maryland Governor's Office of Community Initiatives by Governor Larry Hogan in January 2015. In this role, he has spoken to numerous groups such as Fulbright Scholars of the World Trade Center Institute and the keynote for the U.S. Naval Academy's Midshipman Community Service Awards. As part of the Governor Hogan senior team in Baltimore during and after the April 2015 unrest, McAdams worked with city community leaders to restore stability and move forward with new opportunities. A lifelong resident of Maryland, McAdams has more than 25 years of professional experience as a real estate broker and appraiser. Mr. McAdams was raised in Prince George's County and is a graduate of University of Maryland. He's a close and a very valuable friend of our organization. Please welcome Mr. Stephen McAdams.
Good evening. Good evening. It's an honor to be with you this evening on behalf of Governor Hogan in celebrating the 71st Republic Day of India. First, I'd like to, on behalf of Governor, acknowledge Ambassador Kumar. Thank you for coming tonight. And Governor Hogan would also like to thank Chairman Pavan Biswara and President Singh and all the members of the National Council of Asian Indian Association and Sikhs of America for inviting us to join you here this evening. Please give them a round of applause. Thank you for your leadership. The culture, spirit, arts, and food you offer here is always amazing and rich in tradition. What this celebration reminds me is that our great state has incredible diversity and the contributions you and your community make to make Maryland unique across this nation. Our quality of life is second to none. My name is Steve McAdams, and I serve as Executive Director for the Governor's Office of Community Initiatives. As part of the Governor's coordinating offices and the community outreach arm for Governor Hogan, our office partners with communities, nonprofits, businesses, schools, faith groups, state agencies, and individuals to provide the resources available to help build a stronger and more vibrant Maryland. And I especially want to thank all leaders here tonight, as you have welcomed me and been an excellent partner in our office in making inroads for everybody. Over the last 5 years, the Hogan administration has been working hard to create opportunities for all and for ensuring that Maryland is open for business. And it's working. Since the governor took office in 2015, Maryland has added more than 140,000 new jobs, and our unemployment rate has dropped from 5.4% to 3.6%, the lowest rate since March 2008. Tourism revenue is increasing every year, and visitor spending rose to $18.1 billion in 2018, generating $2.5 billion in state and local taxes. One of the responsibilities of the Maryland Department of Commerce is to help connect Maryland to the world. That means helping Maryland companies make connections in foreign markets and beginning exporting to other countries. It also means encouraging businesses in other countries to choose Maryland when they want to open a facility in the United States. India is one of Maryland's best economic partners. The Department of Commerce has one of its 16 international offices in Delhi, and we provided grants to Maryland businesses to help them start selling in the Indian market. We exported nearly $400 million in goods to India in 2018, making it the state's 10th largest export market, up from number 12 in 2017. We imported over $700 million in goods from India, making it the 11th largest import partner, up from number 13 in 2017. We have about 24 international India companies with locations in Maryland, including pharmaceutical firms Lupin and J Mcadams, IT firms like Infosys and Comic Technologies, logistics firms like Shah Jaharta International, and many others. There are significant collaborations between universities in Maryland and in India. In 2018, the University of Maryland College Park, to give just one example, welcomed 1,260 Indian students. More than 50 universities of Maryland faculty members hold degrees from Indian universities. At least 100 University of Maryland faculty members have had projects in India over the past decade. It is estimated that there are about 94,000 ethnic Indians living in Maryland, and India is one of the top 3 sources of new immigrants to Maryland. Maryland is very blessed and appreciative to have such a great community. As one of Governor Hogan's cabinet members, I understand that our government is not able to assist Marylanders alone. Our mission cannot be done without you. You are important stakeholders, players, contributors, leaders, and champions. I thank you for your partnership. As the councilman said, the 2020 census is fast approaching, and the state needs you to participate. Your community influence has rapidly grown over the last decade. Accordingly, you deserve funding and resources you need to thrive and empower yourself. The census participation funds your community and makes the government respond to your needs. Representation to make your voice heard. Through the census participation, you will have a seat at the table. If you're not counted, Maryland will lose funding for you. If you are counted, Maryland will have the right amount of funding for you. Please respond as the 2020 census starts April 1st. We'd also like to make a special announcement this evening, as we again are going to hold our joint ethnic legislative night in Annapolis on March 26th. At this legislative event, we will have outstanding food from all commissions. We will have all the community leaders, all of our commissioners, over 100, and we will have Governor Hogan and the press as we plan to kick off the 2020 census. We want to show the world, through our commissioners, that Maryland is unique, Maryland is united, and Marylanders thrive. We'd also like to acknowledge the leaders on our South Asian Commission, led by Chairman Jesse Singh, Vice Chair Sajid Ahar. They, day in and day out, lead this commission, lead the community, and do wonderful things every day. We'd also like to acknowledge all of our other commissioners. If you're here, would you please stand up and raise your hand? Can we give them a round of applause? These individuals are hardworking individuals that are changing Maryland for the better and are a true champion of your community. On behalf of the Governor Hogan administration, I'd like to thank all the elected officials, community leaders that are here tonight and have worked with our office in making a difference. Together, we are changing Maryland for the better. Congratulations once again, and we are very grateful for all of you. May I please have Bhavan, President Singh, Jesse Singh, and Sajid please come to the podium as we give the citation.
Can Mr. Gilsa, Dr. Gilsa and Dr. Renika Mishra come on stage, please?
This is
Thank you, Steve.
On behalf of the citizens of the state of Maryland, Governor of the state of Maryland to 71st Republic Day of India, greetings. Be it be known that on behalf of the citizens of this state, in recognition of the anniversary of the Constitution of India, establishing an independent republic, this day, coinciding with the Declaration of Indian Independence in 1929, and celebration around the world with gatherings and parades giving tribute to India's unity and diversity and rich cultural heritage. An acknowledgement to the many contributions of the Indian Americans to Maryland communities. We are pleased to confer upon you this governor's citation, signed Governor Larry Hogan.
Steve, thank you so much. If any of you follow Steve on Facebook or see the great work that he does, I would swear Steve's probably got like 3 or 4 body doubles. He's all over the state. He looks like he's in 2 or 3 places at the same time. So does amazing work getting out in the community. So thank you very much for your work, Steve. And I sent Steve a private message right after the last election, if he remembers, and I'm going to hold you to it because he's the one guy we can't beat. That's just if you were to run. All right, at this time I'm going to call to the stage our chairman of the Board of Trustees, Dr. Suresh Gupta. He's a well-known doctor. He's the Leonardo da Vinci of our organization. He's not only a great doctor, he's an amazing photographer, an amazing gardener, and does so many other things so well. I could continue talking about Dr. Gupta, but I have to refrain due to attorney-client privilege. So come on up, Dr. Gupta, before I get myself in trouble.
Devang, an attorney, what do you expect from him? Well, I won't be in your dinner and the next program. I'm the last speaker on the stage. Let me just say, it's a good feeling to be here, honestly. I thank the ambassador, Mr. Amit Kumar, our charge of affairs, currently holding the Embassy of India, while our ambassador Shringla just left, and he's a foreign secretary of India. So the theme is, if you're a Washington ambassador, next job is in Delhi in MEA. And ambassador, we wish you well. You're going to come as ambassador very soon. And we heard very recently Ambassador Sandhu is coming as ambassador for the previous DCM to Washington. So ambassador, thank you. And a lot of thanks and allocates to our elite guests we all have here from state of Maryland, J Mcadams, and other guests. I want to thank Tom Hucker with this nice, elaborate Indian American theme. We trust you. In 2020, we'll be all enrolling in our 2020 census. Good friend you are to us. Well, let me just say a few things about NCAIA. At NCAIA, we are a 15 years old organization. I'm part of from day one when I joined hands with Nagendra Madavaram as our founder member, past chairman and past president. He's not here, but I will not want to miss his name. I want to thank him for what he did. At NCIA, we are very diverse. We have Assamese, we have Punjabis, we have Sikhs, we have Haryanvis, my state, we have Telugus, we have all diverse people. We are diverse we're dedicated, we're determined, and very diligent what we do. And you can see that by seeing all around how we have this house full. Last week, I was attending our Martin Luther King's birthday, and I heard something which has fascinated me. I'm going to share that with you, honestly. It says, the theme was, I am Martin, like that. And the theme is, I go along the same term, I'm Martin. I'm going to say, I do community service. You do community service. We all do community service. Let us recognize those, we all do community service. And that is this NCIA team who put this theme together. Let us give a round of applause to them again for what they have done to put this together. And number of hours to take away from their families, the time, Jewel of India, dinners, lunches, so many teleconference calls. It's time to recognize them. We at NCIA, we tend to get involved in Indian American community in Washington. We do deal with Embassy of India, do Republic Day every year as we have discussed. Last year Ambassador Shillingla was here to address us. This year Ambassador Amit Kumar. We do integrate with City of Rockville, Montgomery County government, state government, Governor's Hogan's office, or Governor's office. So we are sort of involved. We connect, we interact. We do associate with other Indian American organizations and community. For example, we do a lot of community service through AICS. Well, there are a few guests I want to recognize myself. We have a newly arrived Washingtonian. Her name is Anshula Kant. She is Chief Financial of World Bank. She joined October 2019. She's sitting on my table, table 10. Ms. Kant, Washington welcomes you as CFO World Bank. Honestly, we are so proud that you accepted our invitation, my invitation to be here. Thank you. We have also on table 10, my favorite guest, the Wipro head, Wipro from India, and he is Judge Washington with his beautiful wife, Amiral Kumar Sinha. Ajay and Vinalji, we thank you for joining us. We have a judge from Washington, D.C., Judge William England. He's our commissioner. He's our chairman of Montgomery Human Rights Commission. He's my direct boss when I have our Human Rights Commission meeting. Thank you. And Sam Mitchell, she's a president and CEO of Montgomery Hospice, where I'm her board member. She's my also good friend, sitting on board. Mr. James Stowe, executive director of Human Rights Commission. Honestly, this list is too long. Every one of you is a chief guest. Every one of you is an elite. Every one of you is a very important partner. Just to be here to join us and listen to us and enjoy with us. We cannot do without you, honestly. I just want to say a few more words. I won't take too much of your time. I want to thank my wife who allows me to do what I do at late hours, go to lunch meetings and teleconference, whatnot. So without her support, I would not be able to do this. A close friend of Embassy of India. I have been in Washington for 40 years, practicing in this county for 33 years plus. Great honor to be panel physician. Embassy of India has served, treated, and singled out every single ambassador for a long time. Their families, themselves, their mothers, their servants, or people who work in the embassy. A good feeling as a physician. Lastly, this is my last stop, and I'm going to say this to say. Please listen. I like networking because the opposite is not working. Please do the networking, otherwise not working. So whatever you do, however you do, just do it. They're like Nike says, just do it. I want to thank you. It's my last stop, and thank you for your time listening to me. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dr. Gupta. he's correct. Everyone is a chief guest, but in the words of George Orwell, some are more equal than others. So we're going to recognize several people that really, community leaders that make it possible to have events like that. Without sponsorship, without businesses putting that extra money in, we can't have events like this. So everyone's a chief guest, but some are more equal than others, and we're going to recognize them at this time. At this time, I'd like to ask His Excellency Ambassador Amit Kumar to come up and give the awards to these community leaders, along with Kamaljeet Soni and Adapa Prasad.
Kamaljeet Soni, President, and Adapa Prasad, ex-President of BJP. Can you please come on stage? And I would also like Mr. Pawan Gazwara and Shami Singh. Shami, please come on stage. So first we have Mr. Sajid Tharar, CEO of Center for Social Change, a non-profit organization dedicated to improving the lives of children and adults with intellectual disabilities, including autism spectrum disorder. Sir. So next we have Mr. Arun Chawla, founder and president of Chawla PC, a tax and accounting firm in Gaithersburg, Maryland.
Thank you very much. You have been supporting us, promoting it. Nice to meet you.
So next, it's Mr. Bogram Shetty, called Bogi Sethi, founder and CEO of Sethi, an architecture and engineering firm with offices in the US and abroad. I've personally known Mr. Bogi Sethi and his wife Bharti Sethi for the past 25 years. Mr. Sethi unfortunately is not here. I would like to invite Mr. Pascal, the director of Sethi, to come receive the citation on his behalf. So next I'd like to invite Mr. Satya Prakash, Chief Representative of State Bank of India in Washington, D.C. As all of you know, SBI is one of the biggest banks in India.